And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Schmoes Show. Not an allegory for fascist, bureaucratic organizations at all. Just a simple podcast for you and the whole family. I'm your fucking host, the infamous Orion, and I'm a Schmo.
And I'm Cairo, and I'm also a Schmo.
And this is
And I
Schmoes
did
Show.
it right this time.
You did. You didn't
I
stutter.
didn't slur my words.
Slur. God. You laid off the drinking, Kyril.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Jesus be proud. How was your week?
My week's actually been pretty good.
That's
Well,
good.
my yesterday was good.
Your
The
yesterday?
rest of the week was I take it or leave it. But yesterday was good. Yeah. I had work still, but I got up early enough that I made like an actual omelet. I posted it on Twitter. It was very good. And after work, there's this spot that I drive past that I've seen a few times where there's like this huge pile of dirt that's just been heaped up from something. And a bunch of swallows have gone on it and pecked holes into the side of it that they seem to be nesting in. And like I've seen like ground nesting birds, but I've never seen birds nest in dirt off the ground like that. So I stopped by after work with my camera and took like an hour and got some. I haven't gotten a chance to look through all of them yet, but some decent enough pictures.
Hmm.
It was really neat. I'm very happy with it. It was fun.
You're a simple soul.
Yeah, I like nature.
Nature don't like you.
Nope. How was your week?
Work, and I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Might be getting a new job soon.
Exciting.
Eh, it's not a good job.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay.
do we want to address the horned elephant in the room?
The horned elephant in the room. Oh, I don't know about horns, but there's some goings on to be sure.
What's your goings on?
Netanyahu has officially been removed from Prime Minister of Israel.
That's the horned devil I was talking about.
Okay. Oh, like a devil. Yeah.
They took the devil
Yes.
out of the Holy Land.
But yeah, it's pretty big. Oh, the BBC needs to fuck off with these titles again. A shrewd leader who reshaped Israel. No, he wasn't. He was blatantly corrupt.
Hmm. Yeah.
The big thing with this though, because I've seen plenty of discussion online of people that kind of don't get it, because the leader now, I need to look it up because I don't know their name off the top of my head. Naftali Bennett will be the prime minister from 2021 until 2023. He is the head of a party that is technically more further right than Netanyahu's party. But the only reason that he is in power right now is because he was elected as part of a coalition government, which includes not just his party, but parties from all across the Israeli political spectrum, united behind pretty much the only common ground being to remove Netanyahu from power. That's basically it.
You ever just be so bad that they literally have like a whole end game like battle just to get rid of you politically?
Yeah. So right now, Naftali Bennett, who is, I have his party here, the Yamina party, will be prime minister until 2023 as part of the coalition agreement. At which point, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Yaar, Yair Lapid, head of the Yesh Atid party, will take over as prime minister from 2023 until 2025. They are a much more, I believe they're like a sort of labor equivalent type party. They're much more left, for sure. And the key piece here is that because this is a coalition government that was apparently, I think it was made up of like 61 out of 120 votes, like exactly. if anyone toes the line too far one way or the other, it means that a vote of no confidence can be held, and they could be removed from power as the prime minister, and a new one would be voted on. No one wants that, of course. So what it likely means is that there'll be 4 years of relative inaction on these kinds of like controversial political pieces, but hopefully it will mean that the current ongoing violence that we've been seeing will be stemmed at least for that period.
Yay!
Yay.
Yay!
So it happened, which is very good.
Yeah, progress.
Mm-hmm. And other progress, Saudi Arabia had a pretty major legal amendment that they passed that gives women in Saudi Arabia the right to basically live independently,
Oh
which
shit.
is, it's kind of like, welcome to the 21st century, but it's also very big. It's a very big major change, and it will have significant impacts.
They realized that property tax, yo.
Mm-hmm. So this will allow single, divorced, or widowed women to live independently in a house without permission from a father or any other male guardian.
You know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is smiling in heaven right now.
Mm-hmm. For sure. What else? What else? What else? Oh, uh, this isn't really good news, but I mean, it's not bad news. Um, the perpetrator of a truck attack in London, Ontario, in Canada, will be charged as a terrorist. So it seemed pretty obvious. It was a targeted attack against a Muslim family, but very tragic. Hopefully, they are able to get to the charges and through the courts that they need to.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
Terrorism is bad.
Terrorism is bad. Don't do terrorism.
Be cool. Be excellent to
And
one another.
I do have a few more things. I'm gonna hold off on them because there's much more exciting stuff.
Oh no.
Let's talk Marvel.
Marvel?
Marvel.
Marvel. What's a Marvel?
Yeah. I think it's something that it fills you with like awe and inspiration.
Nah. Let me Google this.
I'm gonna Google it too. Oh, it just comes up with some comic book thing.
Picture book? Picture books. What's the point of a book if there's pictures in it, sonny boy? I just look at a painting. How ridiculous. Ha ha
Mm-hmm.
ha. Only children would care about this. What's this? They've got a guy who is a spider and a man? How silly. You know what? If they had a Batman, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Or a man who is just a little more super than the average man.
Just a little. I think maybe a little bit more than that even.
Just a little more super than what we thought.
But we have Loki. It is here.
Loki is here.
And it's really good.
You think so?
I do.
I I enjoy it. I really liked the first episode. I thought it was a really ballsy first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um I guess we should do a little spoiler warning, but we're pretty early into the show.
Yes, of course. I think we'll probably try to stay away from too heavy on spoilers, but yeah.
So basically, if you ever saw an end game before, you would know that Loki gets away at the end. Well, in the middle.
Yep. In the middle.
Yeah. And according to many, this is a time crime, party foul. Do not pass
Mm-hmm.
go. Do not collect $200.
Yep.
Go straight to jail.
Yep.
And they're time cops, which is an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm. I was curious if this was a new concept or if this is something that is from the comics.
It, I, I personally haven't read that many stories of the TVA, but
Yeah, it sounds like the kind of thing that is probably, of course, based in the comics, but their interpretation of it seems fresh, at the
it
very least.
really is, because I'll show you a picture of what it looks like in the comics.
Mhm.
I'm literally stealing this from the Wikia.
You um, but we're one episode in. I was planning to watch it a second time before we get here. I haven't had time to yet because work has been pretty busy, but it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I mentioned this before we started here, but it's the oh yeah, that's very different. This is the first of these the Marvel Disney Plus TV series, episodic TV type series that I've seen that after the first episode, I immediately want not just more, but like multiple seasons more because
Yes.
of the concepts that they're setting up and the way that they're setting them up.
Um, I really enjoy it. My girlfriend kind of referred to it as a horror show because she was like
Mm-hmm.
1984 much while we were watching it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She would stop each time there was a new poster on there just to read off what the poster was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some really cool background details in there, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like there's a reference to apparently there was a Thor variant that got turned into a frog, so they had to reset him. But yeah, the show brings up this concept that if you do something that is not preordained to happen, you become a variant.
I guess that's the question as to whether it's truly preordained or if it's more than that. I think that we can talk pretty specifically about the TVA themselves because that doesn't really seem to be what the point of the show is. And that is what a lot of the first episode does is set up these concepts that are a bit higher level. Um to me it sounded more like the TVA, which is I guess a direct product from these three celestial type beings that work together to maintain the flow of the multiverses.
So the way I see it is that the timekeepers, who are the head of the
Mm-hmm.
TVA, the
Yeah.
TVA is the Time Variance Authority. For those of you
Yep.
trying to follow
Yes.
along, um, they basically want to make sure time glows linearly, correct, without splitting off and making another multiverse.
From what I understood, it was more that they want to make sure that the multiverses continue on the same path.
Yes.
Yeah. So when something happens in one of the multiverses that deviates away from that main path, the TVA intervenes to reset that back to the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
But what
And
I'm wondering is whether, let me see if I can find the right word for it because I can't even remember, is whether or not the TVA's actions are meant to follow something that is preordained or whether they are reacting to try and find the easiest flow of time to maintain, if that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure it's reactionary.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know, this is pure speculation. I think that getting into that side of it is not something that it looks like they're going to be getting into with this series, but would be a very interesting aspect to explore just in sci-fi topics in general.
Well, I mean, like if you look at it, it kind of hints at it based off Endgame because
Mm-hmm.
the whole point is the Avengers. They keep saying the Avengers were supposed to do what the Avengers did in Endgame, which was basically time travel to redo things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the whole thing was that they didn't create any split timelines, so they were allowed to do it.
Yep.
So when you have something like at the end of Endgame when Steve goes back in time to be with Peggy,
Yep.
he doesn't technically create a new timeline doing that, so they let him get away with it,
Yep.
regardless
Yep.
if it was his choice or part of his timeline or not. And he still gives the shield away, so there's still another Captain America. So There's really no big problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they were more strictly following the flow of time and whatnot, they could say time traveling permanently banned.
Right.
No do. No time travel whatsoever.
And I do find that the fact that there's nuance makes it more interesting
Yeah,
because it makes it sort of subjective to a point.
I will say I really do like the MCU bringing higher concepts like this coming in.
Mm-hmm. It's really nice.
Yeah,
And
as a
without
sci-fi
giving away
geek.
spoilers, the way that they did, because both Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision both stayed their own things separate from the mainline MCU, sort of by their nature.
Yeah,
This one being, given that the first scene is straight ripped from Endgame, could very easily sort of slip off with that and become more critical for understanding the Marvel universe as a whole when it comes to the movies. But they did do a really good job of sort of nipping that right in the first episode so that that won't be a problem. And I really appreciated that.
I also really enjoyed how this was essentially an episode of world building
Yeah.
for the
Oh, yeah.
MCU.
Yep.
Yeah, we
And there have been memes aplenty to come out of it already. That's a good sign for the health of a new property, is the proportion of memes that come out of it and the quality of those memes. Because it's not just memes for the sake of memes. Some of them are pretty damn good.
yeah. I have to look this up.
The main one that I've been seeing is the like the what it is, the like this is the greatest power in the universe bit. I've been seeing that with, different things superimposed over and on top of it. It's effective, it's relatable.
I would say one of my favorite scenes is the drawer scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've seen a lot of memes out of that, so that's
Oh yeah.
been a favorite of mine. What else was there? There's a lot.
I want to specifically point out the music and sound design
Yeah,
because that really stood out to me as being its own thing, completely separate from the Marvel universe. The music and the scoring that they do when you're in the TVA is so different from pretty much anything else that we've heard in the MCU that you immediately get that feeling of this is something different or wrong. It's not quite right. It's not what we're familiar with. I really appreciated that.
I do
The
really.
main
Go on.
I was gonna say the main theme was done by Natalie Holt, and absolutely amazing job.
For me, I really enjoy how they make the TVA very alien compared to the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the MCU, and
Yep.
that it's very
Yep.
monochromatically brown. It's
Yep.
empty. It's really empty, which is a weird
It
thing.
is.
It's like all
It's
liminal spaces.
Yeah. It's entirely empty and then also massive and expansive.
Yeah, it's so
It
weird.
is. It is like bureaucracy manifest.
It really is. I
Mm-hmm.
especially like that take your number scene.
Yes.
Because, like, in no way, shape, or form should that been relevant, but the fact that there
Mm-hmm.
was no number, instant deletion.
Yep. Okay.
Um, what else was there? I really liked Owen Wilson.
Yes, that was gonna be the next thing I brought up too. Owen Wilson is such a good fit.
He is like it's Owen Wilson, but it's not Owen Wilson.
It reminds me most of the Owen Wilson from the Night at the Museum movies.
You're not wrong.
That's the sort of vibe that I got, where there is a seriousness there, but still a lightheartedness.
And compared to all the other TVA agents in this series, he's the most human, which
Yeah.
is an
Oh yeah.
interesting aspect to his character.
Yep.
How'd you feel about the DB Cooper scene?
So it was, of course, it was one of the scenes that they had very blatantly put in the trailers, very intentionally.
Yeah.
While I enjoyed it, um, I didn't expect it to be such a quick little side thing. It worked. It did it what it needed to. I expected it to be a bit more poignant to the greater story, but I still appreciated it for what it was.
I agree. I kind of feel like they're foreshadowing something with that.
I would hope so. I hope that, because given how prominent it was in the trailers, with this whole, oh, look at this, Loki's DB Cooper, it's a very cool concept, and it feels kind of a shame to just have it be a throwaway flashback just for the sake of moving the plot along to the next piece.
It's kind of like a Family Guy cutaway gag.
It kind of is. It really kind of is. And I would appreciate, I would appreciate if they had multiple of those, in the same way that WandaVision had this sort of cutaway gags where the ads were actually related to things that had or were happening in the Marvel universe, with the branding and the presentation of certain products being
Yes.
associated with other Marvel things, names particularly. I would enjoy seeing a series of these kinds of things that show the different side of Loki that we haven't gotten to see.
I
Loki before he was trying to kill everyone in
yeah,
the first Avengers movie.
Loki's frat bro years.
Yeah. And I think that there's a potential that they could use it to very effectively show how Loki's character grew into who he was, because in the DB Cooper scene, that is very God of Mischief.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get to the point where he's in, even in the first Thor, but also in Avengers, he, and they talk about this, he's no longer really the God of Mischief at that point. He's going for something much more than just mischief. And seeing what led to that could be very interesting.
Bro, he was just being a dick.
Yeah.
I really like the episode on a character study of who Loki is, because like
hmm
what you do is in Infinity War, Loki dies, so you have to
Yes.
take this 2012 version of him and somehow get him all that character development that we already
hmm
know the character for, so it's not a complete reset. You kind of have to
Yep.
speed him along really, really fucking fast.
But also, okay, I will say by the same token, it gives them a very unique opportunity where in the mainline MCU, Loki can stay dead.
Yes.
And now they can pursue this different Loki and not have to make Tom Hiddleston's brain fracture into a million pieces trying to portray two marginally slightly different characters.
Which kudos to Tom Hiddleston being able to
Oh
revert his
yeah.
character growth like that to the
Yes.
previous Loki.
I will say though, I don't think it, and this is not like uh related to Tom Hiddleston necessarily. I don't think that they took Loki all the way back to Avengers.
No.
But I don't really think you could at this point, because of how much, the character has grown, of course. People have become attached to who Loki is rather than who he was. And to completely reset it back, however many years ago, probably wouldn't have worked. But I don't even really think that's anyone's fault necessarily, as it is just a product of where the MCU has gone as a whole.
Yeah. Especially the I am a robot scene. Am I a robot scene?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
don't think original OG Loki could have done that.
Yep. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Just that general, that type of wit that was really only in, like, when you look at the early Avengers movie, it was really only like Iron Man that had
Yeah.
that levity, that type of levity, and they did a really good job of fleshing that out in the writing to be indicative of the MCU as a whole. But yeah, it really, it feels like the current version of Loki, and it works really well.
I
that
do
that scene, without giving away anything, it's a great scene. It's really well done.
I do want to point out one flaw I do have with this.
Mm.
It means Thor the Dark World is also now more pivotal to the MCU than we all have to
Oh
want.
no. Oh no. Does this mean we have to go back and rewatch Thor the Dark World to better understand this TV series?
You kind of have to. I mean,
You kind of do.
yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot that that's where certain events happened
Yeah.
that I had just kind of like it just glazed over and was just like, oh yeah, this happened. I don't really care where it happened. And now that we're seeing it again, it's just like, oh yeah, that was where that happened, and that's important now. Oh no.
I mean, like, you could like make an argument beforehand that you can skip Thor 2 and just like name off some of the plot points,
Mm-hmm.
but now you kind of have to watch it because of Loki.
Yeah. It kind of if you haven't seen it, you miss the emotional beats of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so tragic.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Uh, I know this because my girlfriend never saw Thor 2. Because she said she didn't want to bother watching a movie that everybody said was bad. And when we came to that part of the Loki episode where they're directly referencing scenes from Thor 2 and playing them on this projector,
Mm-hmm.
she's like, this didn't happen in Ragnarok.
No, it didn't.
And she looks at me, is like, is Thor 2 important? I'm like, raising my hand up, I guess so.
It is now.
Oh. And she's like, is there anything else I should know from that movie? I'm like, no. I think they're doing you the honors of
That is
trying to
true.
catch you
I
up.
mean, because I mean, it is the one scene, at least now, that matters. There's that one scene, and then there's the post-credit scene where they give the Reality Stone to the Collector. Um, but yeah, that's kind of it.
Well, I remember this now because like she was also confused when we watched Endgame in the theaters,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
they directly go back to redo some of the events of Thor 2,
Yep. Yep.
and she's like, "Which Thor movie is this? I don't recognize any of this."
Don't worry, no one else did either.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even catch it at the time when I was watching through it. Watching the credits though, Tara Strong voices Miss Minutes.
Yeah, I was shocked by that.
I didn't catch that. I was
No,
just like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
the MCU's even got Tara Strong in it now. Damn it.
Yeah. How long until we get Teen Titans in the MCU? Oh no, wait, that's the wrong one.
I hear
Damn.
rumors that Disney really wants to buy DC.
Oh my god. Imagine if they did. Imagine that for a minute. What amazing film and TV shows we could have.
No, no, thank you. I'm a comic
Like,
purist.
well, no, I mean they've had crossovers before.
A handful.
Yeah, it wouldn't need to be a regular thing, but you're already toying with the ideas of multiverses in multiple movies. I mean, it's in the next Doctor Strange movie, for fuck's sake. It's the damn title.
I will say the big part to me when they said multiverse for the first time in that episode, I'm like, oh, of madness, you say?
Yeah. I just think that there is potential, and I would enjoy it more from um more referential kind of things. You know, it doesn't
Mm.
have to be the same universe, it doesn't even have to be the same multiverse, but just having Marvel be able to acknowledge and recognize that the DC stuff exists in some capacity, I think would be enjoyable in certain capacities without, having any problems with
You know, there's a Thor comic where the DC universe explodes.
it. It's probably for the best.
I have that comic. It's somewhere in my house right now. I could probably find it. Yeah. What else is there with Loki? It's a pretty dense episode.
It is.
I do
Um,
like the plot twist of who the main villain is.
yes, very good, very well done. I didn't expect it, but I like it.
Yeah. To catch a Loki, you must get a Loki.
Hmm.
I'm very curious, because you kind of have to assume it's not Tom Hiddleston Loki if it's this figure dressed in black.
Yeah, I don't know. I It's kind of 50-50 for me still, where it's either going to be someone else entirely. I think it could also be that they just wanted it to be sort of mysterious for that scene.
I just don't see the point if we know it's Loki. Why would you reveal like Loki's a shapeshifter, right?
Yes.
Literally, you can have anybody and be say they're Loki.
Hmm? Yep.
So if you're just going to do Tom Hiddleston versus Tom Hiddleston, why wouldn't you just show another Tom Hiddleston? Unless, of course, you're building up to that. It's someone else, so you can clearly differentiate these two people.
Hmm. There are apparently two actors, Sophia DiMartino and Richard Grant, that have both been cast in so far undisclosed roles.
Hmm.
So that very well could prove to be what they do, and it would be good from just like a visual perspective to have two clearly different but connected individuals.
Yes. Um. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh. I also really like that scene with "Please verify this is everything you've ever said."
Yes, I will say that that was one of the scenes that kind of made it clear that this is a different Loki. You know.
Yes. Well, I also had like this one little problem with it, right? Because like
Mm.
I'm supposed to believe this god of mischief that's literally existed for millions and millions of years only has a stack that high.
Has he lived for that long though?
I don't know what his
Actually,
correct
I don't
age
know.
is. Um, hmm.
It was a good scene though. I like that the guy had a cat.
Yeah, he did have a good cat.
That was an amusing touch.
Yes. Let's see. In human years. Uh,
How old is Loki?
yeah. Loki is 1,070 years old.
1070. Okay, I could. I guess it depends how it's formatted.
I can see it.
Hmm.
So are we going to call it here for Loki?
I think so. There's not anything else that can be talked about that we can talk about without just spoiling it.
I mean, I think we already gave it like a lot, but yeah.
Yep. I do want to call out the good, is be the writing side of it in showing some of Loki's, mischievousness. What makes him the god of mischief in some of the more actiony scenes and in the way that he works around the problems that he's presented with.
Yes, he is a thinker, not a doer.
Because he is, and he solves them in ways that are very Loki.
Yes.
I think that's about it.
Ballin'.
Mm-hmm. Okay. E3.
Interesting. Okay, yes, go on.
E3. We're probably not gonna go all in on it today because there's still a lot to be revealed, probably. And there's stuff like being revealed like right now that I don't feel like going and reading through at the moment. Um, but there has been some really cool stuff.
Yes. And there's been a lot of disappointing stuff.
There's been a lot of disappointing stuff.
What else is new?
Um, yeah. Welcome to E3.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Battlefield 2042 trailers that we've been getting.
Yes.
I was pretty disappointed in the like announcement one that they did before E3 because of how kind of nothing it was. It's just like, yep, that's Battlefield, all right. Seeing a gameplay trailer now really does. I mean, this kind of be ironic, but it hammers home that yeah, this is Battlefield, and it's the Battlefield that people want. But I'm disappointed that it doesn't have a campaign still.
They just
I'll
did that to
always.
save money.
Oh yeah, and most people don't give a shit about it. I get it.
Yeah.
It's the same reason that COD Warzone is its own property now. It's because that's what people want to play. So why sell something that they don't want when you can have it be its own thing? I get it. I'm disappointed by it because I know a lot of people don't like the Battlefield campaigns, but I've honestly not played through a Battlefield campaign that I actively didn't like. There's always at least something of interest there that I've found,
Hmm.
even if it's not like mind blowing or particularly good. It's never bad. I can't say the same for the Call of Duty series, and they still keep giving each one of them a campaign.
Call of Duty will still release after the sun explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Solar War Zone.
Yep.
Can we talk about how bad the Square Enix one was?
Yeah. Is their Twitter still?
I don't know. Let's see if it still is
Let's
blocked.
check. Square Enix Twitter. Square Enix's presentation was so bad that they locked their Twitter. It is. It is still locked.
No way.
Square Enix USA, these tweets are protected.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
The,
it's
the,
that
the
bad.
USA one definitely still blocked.
The USA one, yes.
Yeah. I don't blame them. You know? Because, oh no. I just found out there's a Balan Wonderworld Twitter.
Of course there is. It's its own property now.
Would you like to know what their last tweet was?
I'm looking it up anyway, so go for it.
Please ensure that you install the day one patch before playing.
Oh,
We have received
that's
reports of a
pinned.
photo
Oh
sensitive
no.
epilepsy risk from a potential flashing bug if played the game unpatched. The day one
Oh,
patch
no.
prevents this issue as well as enhances the overall play experience.
That is tragic. It's almost as tragic as every other one of these tweets.
This is sad. Oh yeah, we were talking about Square Enix. That's also sad.
I would like to pause for a second because I'm going
Yeah.
to send you this picture.
Oh no.
Imagine if Balan Wonderworld actually had these character designs.
They wanted to, obviously, but
They just completely failed.
yep. Man, all of these look better.
Yeah, it looks stylized, in fact.
Yeah, very 2000s.
Mm-hmm. None of them relate to like the actual power-ups themselves, but you know.
Fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But
Square
yes, Squeenix.
Squeenix.
What's Squeenix up to?
So they announced that they're doing a remastered collection of the first 6 Final Fantasy games
Mm-hmm.
that you have to buy all individually.
Ooh, I was about to say, all right, that's pretty cool, but ooh, no.
Yeah, you think like just having 6 games in one package would be pretty cool, but no, all individual.
You think how much?
What?
Well, because you can buy most of these digitally now, can't you?
Yeah, like these are just remasters. They have like sort of remakes where they did like updated art, but it looks ugly. And it's only for Steam and mobile.
Yeah. Have they announced pricing yet?
No, they barely even
Okay.
showed off anything about the remaster.
Mm, I wouldn't, knowing that it's for mobile, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like $15 each because they have done a lot. Like I can pull it up on my phone right now. Almost every Final Fantasy game is available on mobile now,
Oh,
up
no.
to like 12. But they're like literally just the original games ported. So it's not like they're bad, but they tend to be fairly expensive. So like they have 8. That's the first one that pops up. As Final Fantasy 8 is $21,
Ew.
which is, I mean, it's a lot, but
Wait a second.
it's like just the game, and they're apparently pretty well done. You can get the original Final Fantasy 7 for $16, and it plays in HD on your phone. So
I'm trying to see. I think Final Fantasy VIII on mobile is more expensive
yeah.
than the Switch version.
I wouldn't be surprised. Apparently, Final Fantasy VIII on mobile is they call it remastered, so it's they've done something with it.
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm
do you
not
know about
sure.
the infamous history of Final Fantasy VIII?
Not really, no.
Okay, so the game's original coding went
Mhm.
missing. So
So they didn't have a choice.
yeah, they literally had to rebuild the whole thing from the ground up.
Good.
The Switch
That's
version is
funny.
1999, by the way.
Okay. Um, looks like right now you can buy the original Final Fantasy for 7.99. So if they keep close to that pricing, since yeah, Android and iOS, if it's close to that pricing, I think that's going to be pretty fair. Even if it's like $20 a piece, people complain about it, but like realistically, most people are just going to buy the one or two that they actually care about, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
And they'll probably get more sales off of that than trying to sell like a full 6 game bundle for like $70.
Well, I
Because I
was.
mean, let's be realistic, they're not going to sell them for $10 or less each.
It
They're
would be
still
one
full
hell of a
games.
deal.
It would be a great deal, but this is also Square Enix.
Holy shit, they have Final Fantasy Tactics for mobile.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
is
they
good.
actually have quite a lot on mobile. It's
Yeah.
surprising,
Yo, Final
and
Fantasy
they run fairly well.
Tactics is a really good game.
Hmm. So I don't know, pixel remaster. So they're still going to be in the original styles. It's
Yeah.
not like they're going from 2D turn-based to real-time RTS kind of thing.
No, well, they're not even turn based. They're active timed.
Right, but I mean it's basically just the games.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
So I want to show you why this was probably warranted. Here is what they did to Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
That's the Steam and mobile version.
Mhm.
It,
I
I don't like it.
I don't know. This isn't the kind of thing that's particularly targeted at someone like me, so it's hard for me to say. I kind of agree though that the character models look kind of janky. The ship model looks really good though,
Yeah,
but the characters almost look out of place with the lack of detail they have compared to the everything around them.
I agree. Um, I think this hits home for me because I've been slowly rediscovering my love for Final Fantasy the last few months.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, yeah. Did you know there's also Final Fantasy 4 3D remake on your phone?
I'm not surprised.
I'm really shocked they have like these full games on here. I mean, they're small games. They're old
Hmm.
RPGs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They also announced a reimagining of Final Fantasy 1 as a Souls-like game,
Interesting.
and it's super edgy and I hate it. Would you like to
Interesting.
what? You seen it?
No, they have a Final Fantasy 6 plus 1 in 1 available, which is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and for the after years. Is that how that one is?
Oh shit, 4 the
For
after
the
year.
after years on mobile for $70.
That's not a bad deal.
So that's not a bad deal, actually.
Yeah.
It's possible that they could do all of these in a 10 game bundle, like $15 individually, all 10 for 60. I could believe something like that.
Yeah. That would probably sell pretty well too for people that want to just
Who's
try
this
it.
Devil May Cry looking motherfucker?
They went from the bottom artwork to the top artwork.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh
that's the
no.
reimagining, and that's the original art.
That's terrible.
Yeah. It goes
I can't look at this. Like that's just Dante.
it's
And,
literally
and then it looks like a gender bent lightning. It's bad.
yeah. They did like redesign the main villain of Final Fantasy 1 as well, which I kind of like the redesign cuz it looks Final
Hmm.
Fantasy, but it doesn't look as it's just like more edgy. So like, I'll show you
Hmm.
the original version. And are there any from the remake yet? Any images? Yes. There we go. Edge boy, come here.
All right, let's see this.
You're gonna hate it. Well, I don't know. I don't mind it, but there's the original design.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Not a bad design, right?
Not bad. Stylized.
Yep.
Very. Eh. I can at least see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
That makes more sense than whatever this shit is.
Anime boys.
Anime boys.
Anime
Yeah,
boys.
basically. I'm on the whole fine with that.
Mm,
Knowing literally nothing about it, I'm fine with that. Some of the changes seem a bit. Oh no, it's just really hard to see. They're still there. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I,
I
I,
I, I can see it. Nothing
it's
particularly egregious.
yeah. Just like a edgier version.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Um, and then they also just announced a whole bunch of Marvel stuff. More Marvel
Yeah,
stuff.
Guardians of the Galaxy
Black
game.
Panther.
Yep, yeah. Black Panther and the Avengers game that I am shocked they're still supporting because no one plays it. Let me actually
Contractual
look this up.
obligations.
Let me look up Steam charts. How many people are actually playing this? Because it got dogged at release because it was just terrible.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's not how you spell Marvel. Marvels. I'm gonna pull it up. Marvel's Avengers. Oh no.
What?
So the all-time peak is 28,145. What would be a good game to compare it against? What do you think?
Destiny.
Destiny? Oh, this isn't even going to be fair.
It's trying so hard to be Destiny. Why not compare
it
it?
it is. You're right. It definitely is. Destiny 2's. So all-time peak Avengers 28,145. Destiny 2 all-time peak just on Steam 292,000. Do you want to take a guess at what the 24-hour peak is?
I don't want to know, but go on.
For Marvel's Avengers, the 24-hour peak is 666. For Destiny 2, it is 72,000.
No way.
It is like magnitudes different. Even if every single person playing this game is a whale, they're not making enough to keep it supported. You can't support a AAA game like this off the backs of a legitimately countable number of people.
But they really want to just fulfill those contractual obligations.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure as soon as they're done, they will be done too.
Yeah. Then they'll start work on the sequel.
Mm-hmm. Probably. So I can appreciate that they're still trying. You know, there's a lot of games that were pretty shit, but I've never seen a game that gets that low that actually comes back.
Yes.
Like even Rainbow Six, which was justifiably maligned at its launch because it looked like shit, it played like shit, and it ran like shit, didn't get that low. You know, you still have to have a large enough player base to support basically fixing your game.
Of course.
Okay. Uh, if we're good with Square Enix, I want to talk about Ratchet and Clank.
Go on. Because I've seen Twitter.
Like ignoring the stupid shit on Twitter because holy shit is it dumb.
It's hilariously dumb.
It's so dumb. Um, it looks like a genuinely amazing game. It looks like visually looks really good for being on a console.
Are you sure about that? because the plants aren't even moving when you interact with them.
Let me just pull this tweet up because it's so dumb. Let's get the actual quote here. Let me see if this pulls it up. Oh no, it's too new. All right, Twitter, I gotta click on you now. It's just so dumb. It's like this is the exact because apparently they very particularly talked about how they didn't crunch for the game to be made,
Yes.
and then we have these assholes coming out of left field that just clearly don't understand what the fuck they're talking about. Well, I'm glad that I'm not able to immediately find it. Maybe this guy will be forgotten.
No, from now on, I'm going to interact with plants
It's
every game I
it's
play.
gonna be a meme. It will be.
Yeah, dude.
It's so dumb. I gotta see if I can find this plant. Yeah, here we go. None of the vegetation in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart reacts to you. This is partly why Insomniac are B grade and can't make Game of the Years.
I want to know how much action this guy's getting.
And then they retweeted someone else that tweeted, "No footprints, so much for the attention to detail. Never mind that in game on fucking PlayStation that you can have ray traced real time reflections of your environment in the character's goddamn eyes. There's no footprints in the mud, so the game's ruined."
Yep. You know, you can try putting the most minute details into things, but unless you just hit the bare necessities, like the plants moving when you interact.
I will say though, as much of a cunt as the guy who tweeted this is, he did have a really good follow up.
What was
And
it?
like, I sent it to you. You can go ahead and
Oh,
click
no.
that link. He posted a short video. It's like 3 seconds, and it is as much of as stupid as his opinion is. It is kind of funny.
Let's see. Oh my gosh.
It's just the guy running his hand through a pine tree, and but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I do, but some of like it's been Twitter basically collectively clapping back on this guy and justifiably, but some of these are pretty good. You should see how the vegetation reacts when you go outside and touch some grass.
That is my new favorite insult, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Touch some grass.
Touch some grass, brah.
It's good.
Um, hey, I just remembered this.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah. Is it in Sea of Thieves? Is that right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this. Um,
I personally, I couldn't care. I could not care less.
wow.
I'm glad that people like Sea of Thieves. It seems to be a fun enough game. It's not for me. And the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise has kind of turned to shit after like the second movie. So, eh.
You're not wrong.
Like they had a few okay licensed games, but outside of that, as I don't think Pirates of the Caribbean has ever really been meaningful in the gaming scene, at least. So I mean, it's cool if people are happy with it. It's fine for them. It's not for me.
It was very clearly done for the publicity of it.
Yep.
Jack Sparrow's not my favorite pirate.
No. Who's your favorite pirate?
Do you have to fucking guess, boy?
I want to hear it.
You want to hear me talk about my
I want to
favorite?
hear it.
You want to hear my? Uh, you want to hear about my favorite pirate?
Oh yeah.
You want to hear my?
I want to hear it. I want to hear who your favorite motherfucking pirate is. Yes, I do.
You don't know what you're playing with, boy. Because my fucking favorite pirate.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this shit?
There's one right choice.
His name is Monkey D. fucking Luffy, and he will be king of the
Oh,
pirates.
it's unfortunately the wrong choice, but I appreciate the effort.
Fuck off.
The only
Read One
correct
Piece.
favorite pirate choice is Steed Bonnet.
Who?
Steed Bonnet. You don't know Steed Bonnet? You're not a real pirate fan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just fucking read the how many chapters of it? How much of this fucking chapter?
Yeah, I don't know. It's way too long for me to give a shit.
Oh, you will fucking give a shit about it, boy. Oh, what is this? 116. I'm sorry, no, 1016 chapters of pirate shit, and you call me a fucking pirate scrub?
You don't know Steed Bonnet though. I mean, they made movies about the guy.
Fuck you.
At least they are.
They made over 900 episodes about this guy.
Apparently, I don't know how, but they sure as hell did it.
Oh, if you fucking read the manga, you would understand that, brah.
Lots of filler, I assume.
The fucking anime, yes, but the manga, no.
Okay, I guess that's fair. I mean, yeah.
Fucking read One Piece. Fucking casual.
You really don't know Steed Bonnet?
I really don't.
Do you not follow the internet historian multiverse?
No, I do not. Wait, was he in The
Uh,
Gentlemanly Pirate?
Yeah, he is the gentleman pirate.
I haven't watched that one yet. I haven't had time.
Oh, it's not that good.
It's not
I mean,
that good.
it's very entertaining. It's fun, but it's very long.
You want to fucking talk about pirate stuff being too long, brah?
Apparently, though, they are making a Steed Bonnet movie,
Okay.
like an actual movie, not like the Sundance Rejects thing that Internet Historian did, but like Hollywood people.
Well, you know what? They're doing a fucking One Piece live action. Hollywood people are doing that too.
I'm aware.
Oh, this gets more and more stupid. I fucking love it.
See if I can find this.
Steve.
Did you see the behind the scenes for the Costa Concordia Q&A?
I need to watch that. That's on my to watch list.
I highly recommend watching that. There's a piece that they go through in that where they talk about their production process.
Yeah.
And it is like mind numbing and also hilarious. So, fun fact for the Costa Concordia piece, they couldn't get it to render at all. Something
Yes.
was broken. They couldn't find what was broken. It wouldn't render. So, what they did is they took the little preview window, full screened it, and then recorded that preview window in 5-minute chunks in OBS, and then stitched all of those chunks from OBS together and exported that as the full final video.
That's so awful.
So they still haven't been able to get the original video to, because something was bugged. And like, have you seen the picture of the timeline? I'll see if I can pull this up. Oh my god. So much more respect for what they do over there. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up here. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. It's sorted weird. But they show, here we go. Is this the full timeline? This is not the full timeline. Oh no.
Oh no.
Here we go. This is the full timeline
Oh,
for
no.
the Costa Concordia piece. This isn't even actually the full one. This is like most of it though.
Oh god.
It is disgusting how much is going on in this. I'm not surprised it's broken somewhere. I'm not surprised they can't figure out what's broken. Because each of those pink ones means that there are sublayers inside that pink one that they also have layers to them.
I just want to know what's in the fucking layers.
So it's like in let me screen snip this one. This is from the intro of the piece. There's like 4 layers to this where they have the railing, the person on the railing, internet historian's head, and the water behind them are all separate layers so that they can animate the water moving behind the railing and then internet historian's head moving as well, independent of the rest of it. And it's just all shit like that.
I didn't realize he didn't. Wow. Okay. I didn't realize
Yeah,
those
they
were
do
all made
all of
from the.
that by hand. Yeah.
Oh my god, I have a new
It's
appreciation for those videos now.
right. It's like, holy shit, I wouldn't do that. Fuck that.
They're. I thought he literally just took photo. I had like stock photos and I placed them over.
No. They go out and like find all of these assets and stitch them together. It's genuinely impressive seeing how they do it.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He has to be killed. He's too
Mhm.
powerful.
He's too strong. Yeah, I highly recommend the Costa Concordia Q&A. It's like almost an hour long. It's absolutely worth it. There's so much fun stuff in it. There's even an ad bit in the fucking Q&A.
Of course.
Enough Steve Bonnet news though. Ubisoft did their stuff, and
Oh yeah, we're talking about E3, not pirates.
E3. It's been really frustrating to see people base their entire opinions on a game based around like a 2-minute gameplay video and a price tag.
Yeah.
Because we had literally um one video of the gameplay itself was released at E3, and yeah, it looks kind of shitty because it's on the lowest difficulty of 4 for some reason, and Ubisoft doesn't know how to market games. They actually gave a bunch of streamers and stuff, like people who play like Destiny type games, people who actually play PvE games, not just Rainbow Six PvP people, access to the game early, and they only let them play on the lowest difficulty.
Hmm.
So everything just looks boring as shit because you go into a room and there's like 2 enemies, but you have 3 people, so it doesn't matter. There's just it just looks boring,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It's very frustrating to see people who are just like, "Oh, this game should be free." No, it shouldn't. Like we have annualized Call of Duty releases still, and you want this to be a free add-on for a 5-year-old game? No.
Yes. Everything should be free, don't you know?
Of course.
Government
Of
stimmies
course.
buy my video games.
I haven't watched almost any of the Microsoft stuff yet,
I
but
haven't heard much about it.
from what I've heard, the big news is that Halo Infinite's multiplayer will be free,
What?
which is pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's free with Game Pass or if it's just free. All I've heard is that it's like actually just free. But on the Game Pass side, basically every major Bethesda release in the last 5 years, as well as all future releases, will be day one available on Game Pass.
No way.
And that includes uh, whatever the new Star thing is that they're making.
Starfield the cat, don't you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This has been photoshopped, clearly.
No. That's just what happens when you Google "world's greatest pirate" until.
Is it really?
No.
I'm doing this. I'm
No.
curious what it does come up with.
Don't call me out. Don't. I just wanted to prove a point.
Oh no. This is just random shit.
Really, it's just
There
random
is a
pictures.
world's greatest pirate, like world's greatest dad type mug though.
Oh my gosh.
The rest of it is mostly uh clips of that the best pirate I've ever seen bit.
Yeah.
Which yeah, I get it. Luffy does make the first page of results though, so you at least get that.
Luffy.
Luffy, sorry.
You're insulting our
Luffy.
future king of the pirates, good sir.
Luffy.
uh, okay.
We
back
all
with
we the Starfield, whatever the fuck
Starfield.
it is.
Yeah,
I'm
Starfield
sure
and
I'm
friends.
sure it'll be overhyped and underdelivered like everything else they've done. We also got confirmation of the Outer Worlds 2, which I am personally very excited for. Outer Worlds is a fantastic game that more people should play, and getting a sequel to it because Obsidian is the best Fallout developer ever.
Rude. But true.
It's not wrong though. I do really recommend the Outer Worlds though for anyone that hasn't played it because it is just a really good game.
I thought about getting the Switch port, but the Switch port is kind of a mess.
Yeah, I can't recommend that one. But
It's a
I am
port.
excited for and the Outer Worlds too. And it's the kind of thing that with a lot of these big games that are coming out with like day one versions, you can get them almost all of them on some sort of game streaming service, and it's almost always cheaper than a full game.
Yeah,
So like if you're like Rainbow Six, they changed it to whatever the new Rainbow Six Infection game thing is. It has a $60 price tag. If you don't like it, pay $15 for a month of Ubisoft Plus to try it. And if you don't like it, just play The Division. Like The Division's worth $15 for a month of it, or any of the other open world Ubisoft games. So like you're not really out money. It makes a lot of sense is like a new way to demo these games because you pay $15. If the game sucks, you have 10 or 20 different options of other already known good games that you can just play instead for your money.
yeah.
So,
I
but it's the same way with Xbox Game Pass.
yeah.
You get it for one game, and if it sucks, hey, there's like a million more. Who cares? So win-win. And then you cancel it before it resets at the next month.
I think Game Pass is such a cool idea as a service,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I don't know.
It is nice to be close to a point where a full digital gaming platform can succeed. I think we're not quite there. Like I think a large enough number of people are at that point that it can be sustainable, but we're very close to the point where we'll just be able to have those be the norm.
Yeah, I can definitely see like game streaming boxes taking off.
Mm-hmm. Because technically, both the Xbox and PlayStation have a version of that.
Yeah, I mean
You
the
know,
Switch has it with like the retro games, but
you know. Well, like no, I mean the there's the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition,
oh
which
yeah,
doesn't
you're
have a
right.
disc
Yeah,
drive.
you're
Yeah,
right.
and it's like $50 cheaper. So why not? If you have the internet to support it, go crazy.
So I have a question for you.
Mm.
How badly do you want this episode to age?
How badly do I want? I don't care.
Okay,
Let's
so
date this motherfucker.
what do you feel about the potential Switch Pro rumors?
I gotta look them up again.
I don't believe them.
I think a ton of people are full of a ton of shit.
I agree. I don't believe them at all.
Maybe we'll get a Switch Pro this year. I mean, we're gonna be getting, it seems like, some sort of a new Switch console release this year. But the kinds of specs that people are talking about seem completely unreasonable. Like anyone talking about 4K needs to fuck right off. That is so unnecessary. If Nintendo actually does that, they're dumb as shit.
Yeah. But everybody's just like, no, it's going to be strong. Don't you understand? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's going to be perfect. And it'll also, no, I'm not going to say that because that would be a bit offensive.
What, cure cancer?
I was going to say it'll also have sex with your wife too.
Oh my God.
It's perfect. Everyone's happy. Yeah. I don't believe it.
I've never believed
the fucking PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X can't do 4K 60 without having to do magic voodoo bullshit with DLSS. I don't believe that they're going to do it on a portable device too.
I don't
unless it also comes with a generator that you lug around behind you.
It would not have battery life.
No, I mean like you can't put a battery in something that size that can output that much power. Forget battery life. Like, have you seen the portable laptop? I mean, they're not even really laptops. They're like portable gaming systems for like PC gaming. that are portable because they have a battery, but they have like top end hardware in them. They're fucking huge. And even then, they kind of suck.
Yeah.
So no, I don't believe a lot of those kinds. Like, the only rumor I believe is that there will be a Switch Pro before the end of the year.
I don't even believe that.
I'd be I don't know. I just wouldn't be surprised because we're getting into a year where Sony and Microsoft don't have a release.
Yes.
So it in the window at least it makes sense. Whereas by the time we get to next year, there might be a PS5 2 kind of bullshit
PS5
where
squared.
yeah, where they cut it down and they chop $50 off to have a renewed release kind of thing, like they've done with the Slims and the PS3s and that kind of garbage.
You see,
So there's a window here that makes sense, given the international stakes of like silicon and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they have to skip it
yeah,
so that they don't have a paper launch.
I just I find it very hard to believe anything about like Nintendo really trying to compete with Microsoft and Sony in that kind of field, because that's just
Yep.
something they have never been interested in.
Yeah, I agree.
And then trying to do something like along the lines of like a just an upgraded Switch to make it compete against those just makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm. If they can do legit 1080p 60 fps on the go with a slightly bigger screen, maybe that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
It still won't justify a $400 price tag if you already have a Switch, but
Well, that's another problem. Like the Switch it already sold a lot, and
yeah.
you're telling me you're going to make an upgraded version that everybody has to like rebuy?
Yep.
Consumers aren't going to go for that shit, especially after a rough year like 2020.
Yep. Especially like one of the reasons that the DS is kind of fallen out of its favor is because it started to do that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Where it would have almost annualized updates to it, but you didn't need to buy the update in almost any circumstance. And that was the time when I stopped buying new DS games, was when they switched it so that you had to. Because
Yes.
functionally, my DS was the exact same with the new one, but because the chip was just slightly different, I couldn't play it.
Yes.
So if they do something like, I mean, it's a lose-lose, right?
Yeah. That's why I think they wouldn't do it.
Yep. Apparently, you can buy the Animal Crossing Switch now, though, so that's good.
Yeah. You see, I can see them doing like special editions more often, but
Mhm.
that's about it. Because the
Yeah.
Switch kind of begs for it.
If I could totally see them doing, like a version at the exact same price that just has a better screen, because the Vita and PSP did that, and it was marginally successful. It just kind of replaced the old one, but it is just a better screen, you know?
I also had this. We talked about this in college. Just
Mhm.
making the Switch Pro just like more RAM and just better hardware for the dock. That way, any Switch can
Yes.
get an upgrade from it.
Yep.
Makes literally the most sense.
Yep. I don't know what kind of standard the actual Switch USB-C plug is, but I would hope that they put in the effort at the start to support something like that down the line.
Yeah.
That would make a ton of sense. 4K when it's docked because it plugs into basically an external GPU. Sure. Why not?
Yeah. It'd be so easy to do it that way. That
Mm-hmm.
makes everybody a new customer because everybody can
Yep.
get that new Switch upgrade.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. You don't want to alienate people when they have this many options, kind of.
And then you have stuff like Labo
I
that
mean, or
proves.
even more so when they don't have this many options.
Yeah.
Because you can't buy a PlayStation 5. You can probably buy an Xbox. Who gives a shit though? But you can't buy a PS5 right now. And it means you probably won't be able to buy a Switch Pro either. So if they start releasing Switch Pro exclusive games, it's going to make people turn sour on the idea because they can't
Immediately.
get them. And it's not because they can't afford them. It's because that they just can't buy the damn thing.
Yes. It is just the logistics of a Switch Pro are so much more complex than just it's new.
Yep.
Yeah. There's
Yep.
no real need for it like there was for a PS5 or Xbox One, where
Hmm.
those things were already approaching their limits.
Yeah. Do you remember when the PS4 launched? Do you remember when the PS2 launched? Do you know how long these generations have been?
Yeah,
PS2 launched in March of 2000. The Xbox 360 was 2005. It's not like the Switch was like what, 2018?
2017.
Was it 2017?
Yes.
Like they easily have a good 3 years more that they could get out of this current generation of the Switch before they would need to start making changes.
Yes.
But we're really just not at the point where there's anything that feels like they need a new version of the Switch. It still feels plenty powerful compared to the current gaming market.
Yeah.
So,
Switch Pro rumors are dumb. And
mhm.
when you're all crying tomorrow because Doom Guy's not in Smash, there's no Switch Pro, and they just showed another trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, I'll be crying alongside you because I really want Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. Did you see the? It's not even really a physical edition, but the Doki Doki Literature Club thing.
Oh, yeah, they just announced that, didn't they?
Yeah, this is. I think this is kind of cool because the game will still be free, but you can pay. I think it's like $30 for a physical version of it as well. That comes with fun things, which I really appreciate.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a kind of a cult classic game at this point that is now being brought over to consoles, so other people can be mentally traumatically scarred for life. Um, And if you're a real fan, you can buy a dumb box of goodies. But you don't have to. It's still
Yeah,
free if you do want to just play through the game.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. People are making their E3 bingo cards for tomorrow.
Jeez. I'd be curious to see some of them. I'm sure they're pretty dumb.
Bayonetta 3 information. New Pikmin game.
New Pikmin game.
Classic game port that no one asked for $60.
It's the only good one that I've actually heard.
Let's see. Animal Crossing update.
I mean, okay, is that the free space?
No.
It should be.
The free spacious Sora doesn't get into Smash. Mario Kart 9.
No, why?
Square Enix presents a new RPG that gets 10% of the whole presentation.
That's probably a good one.
Um, let's see here. Yet another Mario sports game.
Wouldn't that be the most Square Enix thing to do, though?
What?
Have your own E3 presentation be utter shit just so you one for Nintendo?
Yes.
Like, yeah, that's Square Enix. That's the one we know and love.
Splatoon 3. Um,
Three. Most of these are just sequels people want.
well, yeah, that's all people want. It's sequels. I like the best part of this bingo card that I'm looking at right now. Mentioned nothing about Metroid Prime 4 because we haven't heard anything about that game for 4 years.
When was the last? Like Pikmin 3 was 8 years ago. What more do people want?
They just did a re-release of it.
They did, yeah, I'm seeing that.
Yeah,
A Switch version.
which I'm pretty sure is just nothing more than an engine test to see how well the gameplay works on Switch.
Could be. Apparently they did something called Hey Pikmin.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
It's got a 7 from Polygon? What?
Yeah,
Oh no, Arzest. Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of game that. Oh, this is the fakest box art I've ever seen.
oh, go on, show me
Oh
that good
no,
stuff.
I'll send you this. You can see the bad clipping on the little Pikmin guys. Look at the little sad purple dude. He's got a white border on him.
I like the concept a little bit, but
I don't know. It looks very unrefined, probably because it is.
yeah, I was about to say I like how they're all in different definitions.
Yeah. Oh, I like this one. Here's another good one. Here is Pikmin 4.
That's literally Pikmin 3.
It is. They've just like airbrushed a Pikmin 4 box on top of it.
Yes.
It's perfect. Ship it.
Graphic design is my passion.
Exactly. Where is Pikmin? I don't get what all these Pikmin people expected. They had to wait 9 years for Pikmin 3. You think they just give you Pikmin 4?
Yes.
No, that's clearly not what Nintendo does. They hold your favorite franchises hostage until the right time and then they overcharge you for them.
Hell yeah, my dude. I just want Breath of the Wild 2. Please stop making me feel bad. uh, do we have anything else with E3?
Not at the moment, I don't think.
Okay.
We do have exactly one movie.
Go on.
There might actually be more than that. But they apparently made a sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard.
What?
It's called The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. And would you know it's not good?
Who watched the original Hitman's Bodyguard?
I thought it looked fun. It looked good. But it looked, I mean, it's got Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. It's an action movie. How bad can it be, right?
Yeah.
But the sequel is apparently really bad.
Go on. Tell
I'm
me
curious. How bad? Let me find out. Look at what the original one was. Hitman's Bodyguard 2017. It's not that much worse then, actually. That one did pretty bad too. This one's sitting at a right 27%. But yeah, we have the world's most lethal odd couple, bodyguard Michael Bryce, Ryan Reynolds, and hitman Darius Kincaid, Samuel L. Jackson, are back on another life-threatening mission. Still unlicensed and under scrutiny, Bryce is forced into action by Darius's even more volatile wife, the infamous international con artist Sonia Kincaid, by Salma Hayek, as Bryce is driven over the edge by his two most dangerous protectees. The trio get in over their heads in a global plot and soon find they are all that stands between Europe and a vengeful and vengeful and powerful madman played by Antonio Banderas. I thought it just said power mad Antonio Banderas. And I was just going to be like, sure, I can go with that.
Yo, I would love a movie where the villain is actually just a known celebrity gone too crazy.
Yeah. Like, imagine if there's something where it's just Tom Cruise and he's lost his shit and spent all his money on, like, nukes.
Yes.
I'd watch it.
Yes.
Morgan Freeman is also there, apparently.
Neat.
Yeah, like, that's literally what they have to say. Joining in the fun and deadly mayhem is Morgan Freeman. That's it.
I'm pretty sure if you find out what Morgan Freeman's favorite food is, you can leave a plate of it at the casting director's house, and you'll get him for your movie.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
And like, I'm not saying I hate Morgan Freeman. It just feels like he's in everything.
Oh, he's a great actor, but yeah. It's like, hey, Morgan, we got a paycheck for you. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, no, they didn't. They zoomed out. I don't know. I just don't know.
I don't know either.
This is the kind of thing that I wish was good, but just because it looks fun. It reminds me a lot of like the Ocean's movies, where you get a bunch of big name actors together, and it's clearly just them fucking around and having a good time.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the MCU
And
is about any
this
nowadays.
basically, yeah.
The thing is, they
They
just
just
keep,
also make the big name actors.
yeah, they just keep coming back and they just start developing in jokes.
Yeah, yeah. We also have a release with Willem Dafoe in it,
Not Willem Friend.
but it has a 2019 date on it. What's up with this?
Okay.
I'm very confused. Let me look into this real quick. It's called Siberia.
Okay.
And apparently there was so this Siberia apparently released in 2019. There's a Siberia 2018 that had Keanu Reeves in it.
Okay.
And if you look on Google, this Siberia is apparently dated as a 2020 film, even though it's now getting a 2021 release. I'm very confused.
I need help.
So this is apparently a 2020 film that debuted at the 70th Berlin International Film Festival, 24th February 2020, and it must have had limited releases, it looks like in Europe, and now it is getting a proper box office or a limited box office release in 2021. Clint, by Willem Dafoe, is a damaged man who has retreated to a wintry, remote mountain cabin where he hopes to find serenity. He runs a modest cafe where the rare traveler or native of the region visits, but even in his relative isolation, he cannot find peace nor escape. On a fateful evening, to confront himself, he begins a journey by dog sled to the world he once knew. He travels through dreams, memory, and imagination in an attempt to find his true nature. So it's a good old 80s man versus self story with some nature thrown into.
Based.
There's also this promotional shot that I can only describe as teal.
It's teal. Oh, yes, that's very teal.
And also the most Willem Dafoe ever.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, yeah, that's Willem Dafoe.
You see, we actually just found him playing with horses the other day, and we just turned on the cameras just to see what would happen.
Basically. So yeah, I have no idea what actually happens in this movie, and it doesn't look like anyone else does either.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe. That's all you know.
Mm-hmm. Somebody gave it a positive review, 3 out of 5, and they said, I didn't understand it or want to be anywhere else.
Go
So they
on.
apparently liked it, but they didn't know what the hell happened.
Oh my gosh. I found a picture of Willem Dafoe with a Fu Manchu.
This is apparently from the London Film Festival. With this hallucinogenic induced spiritual trip, Ferrera has managed to create one of the most inaccessible and baffling films of this year's London Film Festival. Oh no. Why?
It does not look good on him, does it?
Somebody needs to stop him. No, it doesn't.
Willem Dafoe with a Fu Manchu is not a pleasant image.
Oh no.
Oh. That's Willem when he found out Spider-Man's on the younger side nowadays. It just makes him look like a pedophile.
It does. It looks really bad. It honestly looks stuck on. It doesn't look because it's like it's clearly still Willem Dafoe, but it looks like a fake mustache because it's so bad.
It really does.
It's like being sat next to the worst person at a party who keeps telling you how much better Christopher Nolan movies are if you're high.
Oh my god. Oh. Do we have anything else for the show?
Yes, I think that's all for movies. I wanted to point out an interesting piece. This is pretty dry though, so fair warning.
Okay.
I won't go into this too much, but the FDA put out a formal statement this week regarding the Baltimore factory emergent biosolutions that was contracted to make vaccines for Johnson and Johnson and AstraZeneca. Earlier this year, they had a raw materials mix up, or there was it wasn't a raw materials mix up. They've done further investigation. The gist of it before was that um, Johnson and Johnson COVID vaccines had in some way become contaminated with materials from the AstraZeneca vaccine,
Okay.
and that caused production there to stop immediately. And that whole batch, which was like 15, I think 15 million doses, had to be thrown out.
Wow.
This week they came back with more details, and it turned out that when they had gotten to the point where they're trying to basically have 24-hour operation to work to meet both of these companies' requests and demands for vaccine production, their practices basically became non-existent for safety and like good manufacturing type of stuff, and they were transporting um, waste from the production by cart through areas where the finished product was. And it was literally just like going through the areas. But that was enough that the waste that was being transported apparently started to contaminate the finished product that was sitting there waiting to be delivered.
Oh, wow.
So, as a part of this recent letter, they have also advised that an additional 60 million doses should be thrown out. And it's possible that even more will come as they continue the investigation. There's still tens of millions of more doses on top of that that are kind of sitting in limbo while the FDA continues to investigate this circumstance. But FDA memos are completely public. This one is out there. It's very interesting to read. I think I work in kind of a sort of perpendicular to the pharma industry,
Yeah.
so I'm a bit biased, but from my perspective, it was very interesting to read just how bad emergent biosolutions just completely fucked up here.
I was about to say that's really fucked up.
Yeah, this is like the kind of thing that could very well shut their business down, and probably for the better given how lax they were in their procedures.
Good.
Yeah. Um, Let me see if I can find it here. From what I was reading, it sounds like the facility is basically no longer approved to make COVID vaccines under the emergency orders. And the only reason they were allowed to in the first place is because these were emergency orders. So they had to jump around some of the typical procedures that would happen for approving which facilities can and can't make these kinds of drugs.
Yeah.
Yep. That is all I have.
Okay. Well, everybody.
Oh, also, G7 is happening right now. There's not really been anything super interesting. Maybe there will be by next week. Who knows?
Well, everybody. Thank you for joining us on another exploration of current events. That is the Two Schmo Show. I've been your host, the infamous Orion, and am I picking my nose or not? You'll never know.
I'm Kyril, and I'm also a Schmo.
And that was a really desperate way to try and make a funny end sequencer. Thank you for listening.